While everybody in the gaming world is out and about gawking at the new generation's graphics, a little indie game by the name of Doki-Doki Universe came out by the developer HumaNature Studios. The game is a PlayStation exclusive that you wouldn't really expect. This game nearly fits with the flamboyant titles of the PlayStation 1 era. It's an outstanding title that you should consider if you're tired of the run-of-the-mill action games. You are a robot named QT3. One day, your family drops you and your balloon friend off on a meteor, never to return again. After a very long time of waiting, an extraterrestrial named Alien Jeff passes by. He beams you up and tells you that you are a robot that is doomed to be scrapped. You lack humanity. And he has to show you what humanity is to avoid being scrapped and for the chance of seeing his family once again. At that point on, QT3 makes his way through the universe, going planet to planet. He learns what it means to have humanity. And I have to say, Doki-Doki Universe is probably one of the cutest games I've ever played. The art style is simplistic but very warm and attractive, and the people you meet and the things you do will just make your heart melt. You explore a large amount of planets that all have their own unique atmosphere to them, and each planet has a main lesson to learn, and is full of people who have issues that you could help them with. You learn the goods and bads of being a human and the things that come along with it. A lot of these lessons have traits of humanity within them, such as jealousy, trust, and self-esteem. There's hundreds of characters on these planets and they all need your help. There's plenty of tasks to be done to help them learn things themselves and also to make them feel better in their situations. One of the main mechanics to the game is talking to people, relating with them, and learning their personalities to make them happy or sad. When exploring the galaxy, you'll also run into fun little personality quizzes. These quizzes will ask you things that will reveal things about your personality and help you learn a little more about yourself. A few of these were enlightening and were fun to see the responses to them. It felt nearly compulsive to jump to the quizzes as soon as I saw them, as they were really fun to do and figure out more about myself. One of the main incentives to keep on playing the game is the amount of collectibles you receive for doing each task and each quiz. There are two types of collectibles. One is a summonable thing, which you can summon for people, and that can make them happy or sad depending on their personality. There's also decorations, which you could decorate your home planet with. There are tons and tons of these, and it's really worth going through and collecting every single one. It'll help you even progress through the game even farther. The gameplay isn't bad, but what I've mentioned is all you can do. You can go planet to planet assisting people, doing the personality quizzes, or even decorate your home planet, but that's all you can do over amassing 10 hours or more of gameplay. And at that point, it can get a little dull. If there were an occasional minigame or even more depth to you and the NPCs, that would combat this fact, but there isn't really anything like that. There are also some minor issues. The interface system can be slow or even laggy on certain versions of the game, more specifically the PlayStation 3 and Vita version, while the PS4 version seems to be overall superior. There's also an in-game mailing system where you can get emails from characters you've met throughout the game. This is also where you can connect to Facebook and send certain animations from the game to your Facebook friends, but if you don't want to do that, it'll ask you every time you open the mail system, which can become incredibly annoying. I ran into a few bugs here and there as well. Most of these were minor, but there was a major one that left me clueless on what I should do for a certain task on a certain planet, to the point where I had to just put it off until later and hope it fixed itself. While the ending of the game was really predictable in most senses, the presentation is what really disappointed me. While the opening cutscene was animated and nice and very unique compared to the rest of the game, we didn't get that treatment towards the ending of the game. It was an in-game sequence and it made it feel like the ending really wasn't that important. I would have liked it if there was some type of cutscene direction pointed towards the ending. The ending is really open-ended because of the DLC in the game. While I didn't have the chance to play it myself, there's a number of DLCs in the game for about $10 extra than the starting price. These add extra planets and extra quizzes, but if you beat the main game without the DLC, you're not really excited to go back and buy it. I suggest you actually buy the game without this included extra price DLC, and if you really are wanting it afterwards, then you should go for the purchase. The game has a good length of 10 or more hours if you really are thorough and go through everything. For its price of $15, that's really fair, but there's no real playability. which sort of evens it out a bit. There's also no multiplayer interaction directly. You can visit a friend's homeworld and see what they've done with the place, and you can also send animation through Facebook, as I've said earlier. But there's no direct way, there's no multiplayer where you and the player are playing together. Another thing worth mentioning is that the cross-buy feature is amazing, and I really hope this shows up for more next-gen games. The ability of putting down the game on my PS3, switching over to my PS4 in another home, or even just playing on my Vita is really nice. The cloud updates all the saves so each of them are all in sync as soon as I start playing if I'm connected to the internet, so I don't actually have to worry about losing progress. I can play the game anywhere I want to because I have access to these consoles via the Crossplay. This is the first title to do it between all three consoles being PS3, PS4, and PS Vita, and I'm really happy that it is. I really want more games to take up this method of cross-buy because it's extremely useful and extremely courteous to gamers. Overall, even with its issues, Doki-Doki Universe was a really enjoyable game. It stands out in an environment that's really harsh in gaming right now. It's a game that dares to be unique and interesting in a world where games sort of fall flat in their genericism. Games like this are what really made me excited for the PlayStation 4, and there's more games like this to come. While Doki-Doki Universe was everything I wanted it to be, it still had a few issues. Overall though, it was a really enjoyable experience that I haven't had with any other game. For a full detailed written review, make sure you go over to www.brokencartridge.net or go into the link in the description.